What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Everyone between Hooker here and today we are doing an oil change on a 2006 Chevy Silvarado. And these are the things that you are gonna need. You're gonna need 6 quarts of any oil of your choosing. In this situation, we're going with the Pennzoil Platinum. We're also gonna need an oil filter because whenever you do an oil change, it's smart to change the oil filter always. In this situation, this oil filter for the 1500 Silverado is going to be S3506XL. You're also going to need a 15 size socket, and because our drain plug has a little bit of a leak, we're going to replace it with a brand new drain plug and also a new gasket. Whenever you do an oil change on your own leisure time, it is always good to replace that little gasket. It's not a necessity, but it's good practice. So let's get right to it. First thing that you're gonna do once you have the car lifted off the ground, in my situation I am fortunate enough to have a lift, but in your situation you're probably gonna have a jack. The oil pan is going to be right here. It's going to be before that little big ball thing, which is called the transmission bell housing. You're going to want to put your 15 millimeter socket right onto there, and you're going to want to make sure that the socket goes this way because that removes it. The other way, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Now, I've already taken the liberty of loosening it up for you, so we're just going to pull this out with my hands. But in your situation, don't touch this because it's going to be very hot and you're going to want to make sure that you have something underneath it in order to catch the oil. Alright, so now that you have the vehicle up and you've already drained all the oil out of the oil pan, the next step is to remove the oil filter. Now the oil filter, the best way to approach the oil filter is from the back of the vehicle. So you're going to want to have the oil filter to the left-hand side of the oil pan. Remember, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Now the oil is going to be extremely hot, so again, have something to catch it in. And watch your face. Just let it do that. Let the majority of it come out. And now we're going to remove the rest of it. I like to take a nice cloth and just have it behind here, just to get some extra grip. There we go. And I did get some oil on my hand, but it wasn't that bad because the vehicle has been able to cool for a little bit. Alright, the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to replace it with the new oil filter, and then we're going to replace it with a new stopper. Alright, so now that we have the oil filter removed, we're going to take our new oil filter and we're going to remove the rubber gasket up here. Alright, now once we remove the oil gasket, we're going to take our 1 quart of oil. We're just going to put a little in the cap. You don't want to pour the oil in here because we're going to pour too much oil. So by pouring it in the cap, it prevents you from doing that. And you just pour it all around the outside, like so. That should be enough oil where you didn't put too much or didn't waste any. And I just like to put it in there like this, and then I'm going to flip it over, and now both sides are well coated. There we go. All right. Now to put the oil filter into the spot. Now it's just like the same process, except backwards. Literally, just put her up there, and you'll feel the threads catch. Once you do that, just spin her up. Just like so. And just make her hand tight. Hand tight. No more, no less. Just that way. Alright, so the next thing that we're going to do is that we're going to replace this little oil plug. So now we have the brand new oil plug. Let's put it right in there. Now with all these things, you want to make sure that everything is nice and snug but not over tighten. This is aluminum and this will strip. And we're just gonna tighten it up. Again, I'm not putting that much pressure on it. I'm just tightening it a little bit with my hand and pull. Just a little bit. There we go. Nice and snug. Perfect, perfect. All right, so now we're gonna pour in the oil. The oil cap is located right here. It's located on the left side of the engine if you're facing the vehicle. You're just gonna remove it. It is a twist off. We're gonna add a funnel because we like to actually get it in the hole. And then we're just gonna start pouring it. It's just gonna take about 5 quarts. And we're putting full synthetic in because we don't want to have to change the oil for until like. Alright, so now that you put the 6 quarts of oil inside your vehicle, the next step is to obviously put on the oil cap. So it twists on just like this. And the next step is to come over here and turn on the vehicle. Because what we're doing is that we're priming that oil filter that we put in the vehicle. And that way we can get a true reading from the dipstick. So you're gonna turn the vehicle on for probably about 20 seconds. 6 seconds to 10 seconds into the turn on process, we're gonna rev the engine a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Rev. I revved it to 4 grand, but you can do 3 or 2 grand. Nothing too crazy. And then after that, we're gonna let it sit for another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're gonna turn off the vehicle and we're gonna go back up to the front. Grab your towel and your dipstick will be located right behind the oil cap. It is gonna be the yellow lever and just pull that out. Your first reading is gonna be a dud because we revved the engine, everything was turning and all the oil is gonna be pointed up here, all right? So we're just gonna wipe off that first reading. Take the dipstick and stick it back in the hole. Don't force it in there, it should slide right in. And just let it sit for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now, let's remove the dipstick slowly and get it to a point where there's a good amount of light. All right, we can see that all the holes here are completely filled with oil. This lets us know that the car is completely filled. Again, this vehicle only takes 6 quarts of oil. If you put in 7 quarts of oil and it looks like it's oily up here, you have a problem. You're gonna have to get rid of some oil. Again, only 6 quarts of oil. I emphasize that highly because people sometimes don't know how to read their dipstick. Anyways, guys, that's all it takes to change your oil on an 06 Chevy Silverado. Thanks, friend, for letting me use your truck.